Hi, my name's Erica. I'm an Australian living in England. My first political actions were in the primary school playground. The lunchline lockout, the girls' soccer sit-in, and the petition to sack the school dentist. They were a child's quest for fairness, and I think reflected that having been to 6 primary schools in 2 countries, I had realised that just because that was the way it was, didn't mean it had to stay that way. Although my schoolyard efforts sometimes resulted in a call to my mother, none of them drew the repercussions that my opposition to the group of slightly older boys who took control of my student union at the end of my first year at university did. This time, my actions were met with threats of violence and a campaign of harassment. I had grown up being told that girls could do anything, and not clear on why I was constantly given this message, I didn't have a way to understand what was happening to me. I dropped out of university, literally, too scared to go to campus. This personal history makes sense of my feminism. Like many young women, I had found feminism after my first hard bump with the patriarchy. What people sometimes find more perplexing is how this initial experience of higher education, marred by threats of violence and academic failure, turned into an abiding commitment to the student movement and the cause of education access and quality. In retrospect, the best explanation I have is that I had grown up hearing the story of how my mother's family circumstances meant that instead of pursuing her dreams of going to university, she left school at 15. History shows that those boys did not rob me of my education, or the amazing opportunities being an activist has brought me. And in the following nearly 20 years, I've worked and volunteered in a range of non-government, public service and political jobs related to education and feminism. This year, I've returned to campus, once again, to get my PhD and to bring the 2 streams of my life together. I took Marshall's classes on narrative and organising during my Masters, and while I'm not an organiser, the lessons I learnt fundamentally changed how I work and contribute to organisations and campaigns. Through my research, I'm working with an international women's human rights organisation to look at how they mobilise young women's leadership, not only within their organisation, but in the broader community to ensure women, young women and girls everywhere know and enjoy their human rights. And I believe narrative and organising is part of that project.